You think you're angry, but you're not. You're just weak. Not because you yelled, not because you punched a wall, not because your voice cracked or your blood boiled, but because you let something outside of you, another person's words, a driver cutting you off, a comment on a screen, take control of your inner world. That's not strength, that's surrender. There's a man sitting in traffic, gripping the wheel like it's the neck of his problems. His jaws tight, shoulders locked. His wife texted something cold. His boss canceled the raise again. And now this traffic, he thinks he's mad. But what he really is helpless. And no one ever taught him how to sit with that. The Stoic philosophy did. They understood what most people today don't want to hear. That anger isn't a show of power, it's evidence that something else already has power over you. And that scares people. Because we're taught to believe that getting mad is how you stand up for yourself. That raising your voice is how you reclaim control. But the truth, it's usually the opposite. I want to take you back to Epictetus, a man who was born a slave, beaten, humiliated, and dismissed by society. He had every reason to be angry, every excuse to explode. But when asked how to handle insults, he smiled and said, "If someone speaks ill of you, live in such a way that no one will believe it. That's not weakness, that's command." Here's what's really happening when you lose your temper. You think you're protecting your pride, but what you're doing is exposing your insecurity. The moment you lash out, the world sees you're not grounded, that your emotions can be hijacked. And in Stoic philosophy, if you can be hijacked, you're not free. So what would strength actually look like? It's the man who gets insulted and doesn't need to respond. It's the woman who gets betrayed and chooses not to become bitter. It's the leader who watches the chaos rise and speaks calmly into the storm. But let me be clear, this isn't about being passive. Stoicism is not apathy. It's not silence out of fear. It's silence out of power, restraint out of self-respect. Not because you're afraid to hit back, but because you no longer see the world as your enemy. And because you've realized that your energy is too sacred to waste on battles that cost your peace. I want you to think about the last time you got really mad. The kind of mad that leaves you shaking. What did it change? Did it fix the problem? Did it make the other person respect you? Or did it just leave you exhausted, ashamed, maybe even a little regretful? That's the trap. Anger feels good for 5 seconds, but wisdom feels right forever. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, at one point wrote in his journal, "Not for others, but for himself." The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Imagine that. A Roman emperor reminding himself not to become the thing that provokes him. If he needed the reminder, maybe we do too. And yet we live in a culture that rewards outrage, that equates loudness with courage. If you don't yell, they say you're soft. If you stay calm, they say you don't care. But I'll tell you what's really soft. Losing control, being a puppet to your feelings, calling yourself free while being chained to every trigger that life throws at you. Stoic philosophy teaches us to pause, to breathe, to question the first wave of emotion before we act on it. Because that first wave is usually wrong. It's the ego talking, not the soul. It's the inner child screaming, not the wise adult speaking. You're not angry. You're overwhelmed. You're scared. You're disappointed. But you never learned how to say those words. So you default to rage. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Strength is emotional discipline. Strength is clarity under fire. Strength is walking away when your pride begs you to stay and fight. I'm not asking you to suppress your emotions. I'm asking you to become so deeply aware of them that they stop running your life. That's what real freedom looks like. That's what real manhood or womanhood looks like. And it starts when you stop identifying with every reaction and start choosing your responses. So what do you do the next time anger rises in your chest? Like a wildfire, you pause, you breathe, you observe it. Not as something you are, but something you're experiencing. You ask, what is this anger trying to protect? And then you ask, is this the most powerful version of me? Because here's what no one tells you. The strongest person in the room is almost never the loudest. It's the one who doesn't need the room to know how strong they are. It's the one who owns their silence, not because they have nothing to say, but because they've already said it to themselves. Let me leave you with this. Your peace is not negotiable. Your self-respect is not a reaction. And your anger is not your strength. It's a mirror. And if you're brave enough to look into it, it will show you where you've given your power away and where it's time to take it back. That's the Stoic philosophy in action. Not just to feel less, but to live more. To choose the hard thing over the easy reaction. To walk through fire without letting the fire walk through you. So the next time someone tries to get under your skin, smile. Not because you're okay with it, but because you're no longer ruled by it. And if this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that doesn't sugarcoat life, but teaches you how to master it. Remember, you're not here to react. You're here to lead your thoughts, your choices, your life. Let's walk that path together. See you in the next video.